So today we're going to be talking about the All Star voting and obviously the chance of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese making the All Star team. I think for every single viewer, the best thing is that they both make it, but obviously the All Star rosters are going to be revealed today at 9 p.m. Eastern time before the game. So we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about how the voting is calculated, as well as just the general aspect of voting for players. So from here, you can see in this article right here, it says here, any player in the top 10 of voting that isn't on Team USA will be on Team WNBA. If the Sparks forward, the next 36 vote getters will then be provided to 12 NBA or WNBA head coaches, and they will fill out the rest of Team WNBA. So, that basically means, if you guys don't understand what is happening, so you want to see these votes. Obviously, this is not just a pure vote getting, because if it was pure vote getting, the 10 would be guaranteed. But if you're looking here, it is 50% fans, 25% current WNBA players, and 25% national media panel. So, Caitlin Clark has to be top 10 in the entire WNBA for it to be up to the players, or for it to be up to votes. And look who are in the top 10 of voting. A'ja Wilson, Breanna Steward, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, Napheesa Collier. So all of these players are already on Team USA. So obviously they're voting. They're going to be in that. They're going to be ranked higher than Caitlin Clark. So you got to take into account that even if she gets 10 times more votes than third place, it doesn't matter. So let's just say Caitlin Clark is second in player voting, which she is right now. And then she is 30th in fan voting. I don't think she gets a single player vote. So she's going to be outside that top 30 in player vote. And then she's probably going to be in and around a 30 in media vote. In around a 20, 30 in media vote. So then you have to take into account your Jonquel Jones, who's going to do, even though she's 15th in player vote, she's probably going to be higher than Caitlin Clark when it's all said and done. So you got to take into account that the top 10 includes the WNBA players. So we have to take into account their player voting and the fan voting. Because you might be saying, how are you going to say that the coaches aren't going to vote her top 20? It includes the 12 Team USA players, and she's not getting voted by the players or the coaches, or the media above any of them. So, I'm saying with a combination of the three, first is going to be A'ja Wilson. Second, with a combination of everything, is probably going to be Aaliyah Boston. Because Aaliyah Boston is third in player voting. Then fourth or third, it's probably going to be Breanna Stewart. Then I'm going to say Aaliyah Boston, because she's going to have a really high player vote. Fourth, and I'm trying to just guess the 10. Because if she doesn't make the 10, she's not going to make the team. So Aaliyah Boston's guaranteed. These are like my 10 that would be the guaranteed All-Stars. Arike, guaranteed. Kelsey Plum. Because again, Kelsey Plum is 8th in player voting. Sabrina, obviously. Sabrina. Collier. And let me just take a look at the others. So, Angel Reese, I'm not sure about Angel Reese. I think Angel Reese is more like, we've got these last 3 spots now. And obviously the player vote counts. And if A'ja Wilson ends up winning this player vote, I think it becomes very difficult. Because even if, again, Caitlin Clark has double the votes of Napheesa Collier, it's only 8 spots. The difference is that in the player votes, if Fee Collier is like 3 and Caitlin Clark's 20, the gap between the two of them is bigger in the player votes than the gap between them in the fan vote. Ironically enough, one of the biggest reasons, if Caitlin Clark does make the All-Star team, the biggest reason isn't going to be voting for Caitlin Clark. The biggest reason is going to be voting Kate Martin in 12th, Cameron Brink 11th, having Katie Lou Samuelson with more votes than Kayla McBride. So, this is what I'm thinking so far for the 8th. And the fact that Neko Wumake is there at 13, I'm just trying to think who's going to get good player votes. Darica Hamby is 10th. So I actually think Hamby's going to do pretty well in the player and the media vote as well. So we're going to probably put Hamby in there. Like, I don't think Taurasi is going to be in that top 10, even when you count player vote and everything. Where's Jackie Young on this? Obviously, Jackie Young's not done too well. I think Alyssa Thomas is going to get extremely high votes from the players in the media. Look, she had more votes in the media for MVP than Asia Wilson. They like Alyssa Thomas. They really, really like Alyssa Thomas, and she's 20th. So I'm not entirely sure about Alyssa Thomas. It's going to be, see these last two spots right here. It's going to be between Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas, Jackie Young, Jonquel Jones. So there's going to be these players that are here for these last two spots. If Caitlin Clark does not get one of these last two spots, she's not going to be an All-Star. So, what does Caitlin Clark need? So, let's just say she finishes second in player voting. She probably needs to finish for her to get overall top 10. Because she's not going to be top 30 in player votes. She finishes second in fan voting. She's not going to be top 30 in player votes. So that puts her out of that. That almost negates the fan voting. It then becomes to the media. And the media have got to rank Caitlin Clark in the top 15 players. Otherwise, I don't think she's going to be an All-Star. Because the coaches aren't going to pick her. Like, what coach in their right mind would pick... not what coach in their right mind. There's no coach in this league. Whoever is the coach of the All-Star team. The East, it's probably the Liberty coach. You're more likely to get it from... You're more likely for it to be if it's the Liberty coach. But if it ends up being, let's say, the Sun coach, they're going to pick Dejanay Carrington over Caitlin Clark. But with the way the rules are, the likes of a Jonquel Jones and Ariel Atkins, who may not be here, suddenly become in that conversation. Like, Kayla McBride's not going to make it in the top 10, but a coach will pick Kayla McBride over Caitlin Clark. You've got Carrington as well, who I think coaches will pick over her. I don't think Kelsey Mitchell is going to make the All-Star game anyway. But there is a chance that Kelsey Mitchell ends up in that top 10. Unlikely, but there's a chance. But again, I've also not even mentioned DeWanna Bonner. DeWanna Bonner's 37, having one of her best seasons. Yeah, she's only 14 in the voting, but I think she's going to do really well in the player voting. So I think you're going to see like a situation where DeWanna Bonner could make that. So it is going to be between like a Bonner or Reese. I'm not even sure Angel Reese makes the team if it comes down to the coaches either. So it really is a case of, if Caitlin Clark does not make this top one, she's not going to make the All-Star team. So my chances of her making the team are 50-50. With the way it's being done, I think it's a 50-50 chance she makes the team. If you're asking me Angel Reese, I think 60-40. I think there's a 60% chance Angel Reese makes the team, a 40% chance she doesn't. But I genuinely think that it is, not that it's unlikely, but it's not a guarantee that Caitlin Clark makes his All-Star team. And especially after finding out, like, public Caitlin Clark haters are in the media voting, I don't know how well she does in the media. Let's just say hypothetically, she finishes second in fan voting, 35th in player voting, and 20th in media voting, which could very well happen. Because we want to argue she's the 20th best player in the league, cool. And I think with the fact that there are some media people that will leave her out of, that will not even vote her, I think she'll be left off more cards than she's on. So let's just say she ends up 20th in media voting. She's not going to be in that top 10 overall, because it's only the top 10 overall that are guaranteed All-Stars. And the top 10 that are on Team USA, it's only the top people that are in the top 10 that aren't like on Team USA. It's not the top 10 voters. It's not the top 10 players in general. It's not 10 people that aren't on Team USA. It's not the top 10 that aren't on Team USA. It's the top 10 could be 10 Team USA players. And then the All-Star voting is irrelevant. If the top 10 are all Team USA players, the All-Star voting doesn't matter. None of them make the team. So, and that's what I've read from it anyway. I could be wrong, but for anyone expecting the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark combination, whoever the coach is, it's probably going to be up to them. Because I think one or the other is not going to make the team. And I think with the way the voting is, especially because Angel Reese is only 2 spots behind, or 3 spots behind Caitlin Clark in fan voting. And I think when it's all said and done, fan voting, Angel Reese is going to be 4th behind Leah Boston and Caitlin Clark, but ahead of Breanna Steward. So Angel Reese goes in 4th in fan voting. She's going to do significantly better in the media vote. She's going to do significantly better in the player vote as well than Caitlin Clark. I think Angel Reese is more likely to get one of those get a guaranteed All-Star spot than Caitlin Clark is. But ironically, I think the coaches are more likely to pick Clark than Reese. Either way, if you're asking me what percentage I think that both of them make the All-Star team, 30. If you're asking me what percentage of Angel Reese making it individually and Caitlin Clark not making it, I'll give Angel Reese a 60% chance. I'll give Caitlin Clark a 40% chance of making the All-Star team. I think it's probably around 30 to 25% chance that both of them make it. I think it is less likely than likely to both make it.